afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cadet Thomas Yoder. I'm the Director of Training here at Detachment 215, Air Force ROTC. It's our distinct privilege to have these two fine gentlemen up here coming to speak to us here today. I'd like to introduce Mr. O. Lawton Wilkerson. Mr. O. Lawton Wilkerson is a native of Chicago Heights, Illinois. Upon graduation from Bloom Township High School there, Mr. Wilkerson joined the Army Air Force Aviation Cadet Training Program in Tuskegee, Alabama. There, Mr. Wilkerson received his commission as a second lieutenant and earned his wings as a B-25 pilot. Mr. Julian Johnson. Mr. Julian Johnson was born December 8, 1924 in Chicago, Illinois. In 1943, Mr. Johnson entered service and was assigned to an anti-aircraft battalion camp in Stewart, Georgia. Mr. Johnson transferred to the Army Air Corps in January 1944 and was assigned to Cussler Field, Mississippi to undergo testing to become an aviation cadet. From there, Mr. Johnson was assigned as a bombardier and received his commission as a second lieutenant on 27 January 1945. Mr. Johnson was then assigned to the 477th Bomber Group on 23 February 1945 at Goblin Field, Kentucky. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. O. Lawton Wilkerson and Mr. Julian Johnson. Do you want to further introduce y'all to yourselves?
Well, I think we've just about said it all as far as who we are. Incidentally, I was not only born in Chicago, but I was raised in Chicago and spent all but maybe 15 years in Chicago. Oh, okay. Chairman in the back?
Yes, sir.
As I said, I was born and raised in Chicago, went to school in Chicago, and all my life was spent in Chicago except for about 15 years when I was working in the aerospace industry in California and then in New York. That just about takes care of it.
Okay. Well, my name is Lawton Wilkerson, as you heard, and when I got out of the service, after a number of different jobs in an undertaker's place, and selling insurance and driving a bus, I wound up at WMAQ Chicago, which is NBC station in Chicago, and we're very conscious about microphones. Plus, I like to tease Julian. That pretty well stated, though short, my career. I was in the Air Force. I wound up being a B-25 pilot. Didn't get an opportunity to fly when I got out, but life has been good. Things have been rough. They're better now. They still have a way to go. That's about all I have to put to what you've already done. Thank you.
Well, for now, we're going to show a short clip, now a 15-minute clip on the Tuskegee Airmen and the history of the program. So feel free to watch, and do you have anything to say?
Well, what we've got here, this is a cut-down version of a documentary called Double Victory. This was a documentary that was shot at about the same time as the Red Tails movies, which came out last year. And I think it's important to kind of help set the stage and get some context for the contributions of the gentlemen here on stage in front of you, to get a sense of why it is that they have played such a pivotal part, not only in forming and shaping the military as we know it today, but pioneers really in what it means to be aviators. I mean, think about it for just a moment. These gentlemen were pilots in the U.S. Army Air Forces. Think about that. They were doing the things that a lot of you who are wearing the zip-up pickle suits, you want to do that for the Air Force. These gentlemen were doing that in the Air Force before we were the Air Force. That by itself is pretty extraordinary. So we'll start out with a short documentary here, but this is truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for your professional development, and that's why I appealed to these gentlemen to come here and provide you all with the benefit of their experience and their perspective, what it means to be officers, to be leaders, to be part of the military during a world war. Think about that for a second too. We are engaged in conflicts all around the world at any one time, but we have not been engaged in a truly global conflict, thankfully, since World War II. These gentlemen have also experienced what it's like to be mobilized and part of our defense machinery at a time when truly the entire world was in conflict. So think about some of those issues as the short documentary kind of spins up. And then we're going to basically open up the floor for questions. Mr. Wilkerson, or Wilt, because he's graciously agreed to allow me to call him, has said that we're just going to kind of play this by ear, and I want you to take advantage of that. I've been in the service for 20 years. I just crossed my 20-year anniversary. In another month, I will cross my 20-year commissioned anniversary. So I have been an officer in the U.S. Air Force for 20 years in just 30 or so short days. This is the first time that I have had a privilege in that entire career to be in the presence truly of living legends, not only of the Air Force, but of air power, of what it means to be a member of the military, to fight for their country, all of the things that these gentlemen have established for us in terms of their legacy of excellence, in terms of what they have done to shape the way the military thinks about equal opportunity, about what it means to be a citizen of this nation, to fight for their country. So I'm going to close up because I promised Cadet Yoder that I would try to limit the things that I say, and you guys who know me know how difficult that is for me to do. So I'm going to shut up here, turn the floor over, and then if we can entice you all to engage our cadets so that they get to reap some of the benefits, again, of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Thank you again, both, for making the trip down here to visit with us this afternoon. Cadet Yoder, if you please.
Would you like to sit down here?